In the study of human consciousness, it's important to have objective indicators in order to be able to study the inner consciousness experience. In this lecturette, we will be discussing the objective indicators in the study of inner consciousness experiences. The photographs that you will be viewing during this lecture are depictions of the consciousness that individuals have experienced during near-death experiences. Conscious inner experiences have been researched and explored by individuals interested in human psychology and consciousness studies. However, because of the nebulous, non-tactile, non-objective, and the experiential nature of the personal experience of inner consciousness, no thoroughly reliable indicators have been developed to measure or validate consciousness theory. Medical technology has developed instruments to record the brain and chemical activities in the human body, but there are no scientific measurements devices that can record inner human consciousness experiences. In order to record inner human consciousness experiences, the individuals must share their experiences with the researcher through discourse and event recordings, such as painting and music and verbal reporting. As an example of inner consciousness research, in the movie Flatliners, a group of young medical students attempt to record after-death inner experiences. Although they have available all the medical equipment to control and record the bodily responses and activities, they have no means to study and record their after-death inner experiences. It is through the direct reporting of the death experiment participants that the documented inner experiences are recorded and analyzed. As a post-experiment problem arises among the death experiencers, it is through the analysis of their experiences and the determination of a common variable between the experiences that a solution to the post-death inner experiences are resolved. Why are there a need for indicators to study inner consciousness experiences? The psychology of consciousness is in part a personal, experiential study of individual inner experiences. Because of the subjective nature of this type of study, it is important to develop some specific objective indicators of inner human experience in order for the studies to be considered valid scientific inquiry. Non-scientific studies of human inner experiences can be considered exploration into the human experience, but lack the definitiveness of scientific study. According to Woolman and Ullman, what distinguishes science from exploration in general is that exploration seeks some external objective goal, while science seeks a change in the explorers. While all exploration may change what is thought, science changes the way of thinking. According to Woolman and Ullman, the hallmark of a valid theory is its improvement over a past theory and its suggestion of further theoretical development. For a theory to be considered valid, it must be able to withstand testing, refutability of the scientific community, and be clearly communicated to the scientific community. The indicators to define and report inner experiences must be mutually understood, mutually defined, and achieve scientific validity in the conclusions of hypotheses in order to be considered valid and reliable scientific information and enhance previous concentration theory. Methods to acquire valid indicators of inner experience. Medical science has developed instruments to monitor and record the biological and physical activities of the brain, the center of inner thought. But no instruments can measure the actual experience of the conscious awareness. During the dream stage of sleep, the researcher can record the rapid eye motion, REM, of the research participant, but cannot record or report the experience of the actual dream. In the field of consciousness studies, after the physical and biological activities are monitored and recorded, the actual inner experience must be described and reported by the use of common language, specific research procedures, and systematic reports. According to Hildegard, we need a set of adjectives to describe the relationship between information that has been registered and the manner in which that information is represented in consciousness. As with any scientific experiment, a common language must be agreed upon in order to properly record and report the findings associated with the experiment. In the pursuit of knowledge regarding inner consciousness experience, the researchers need to define keywords and explanations. Similarities in research settings or situations should be distinguished and considered in the foundation of any consciousness research methodologies and findings. Ernest Hildegard has identified 5 procedures for obtaining systematic reports of inner experiences. These reporting procedures for obtaining data regarding inner consciousness experiences are: number 1, the completion of questionnaires; number 2, thinking out loud, freely discussing the experience; thought sampling using descriptive terminology; 4th, thought sampling by using a rating reporting table; and 5th, recording an event by describing the inner experiential event in its entirety or by reproducing it in an art or music form. An example of a consciousness study is the AWARE study. The AWARE, which means Awareness During Resuscitation, study is the first launched by the Human Consciousness Project and is led by Dr. Sam Parnia, a world-renowned expert on the study of human mind and consciousness during clinical death, together with Peter Fenwick and Professors Stephen Holgate and Robert Pevler of the University of Southampton. The team will be working in collaboration with more than 25 major medical centers throughout Europe, Canada, and the United States. During the AWARE study, physicians will use the latest technology to study the brain and consciousness during the cardiac arrest. At the same time, they will also be testing the validity of out-of-body experiences and claims of being able to see and hear during cardiac arrest through the use of randomly generated hidden images that are not visible unless viewed from a specific vantage point above. The AWARE study will be completed by the Brain 1, Brain Resuscitation Advanced International Network, study, in which researchers will conduct a variety of physiological tests in cardiac arrest patients, as well as cerebral monitoring techniques that aim to identify methods to improve the medical and psychological care of patients who undergo cardiac arrest. The studies are being funded by the UK Resuscitation Council, the Horizon Research Foundation, and the NOR Foundation in the United States. For more information on the AWARE project, Google AWARE Parnia and the site associated to the AWARE project will come up. In conclusion, the research methodologies used in the movie Flatliners provide for a clear, concise, and refutable hypothesis and research methodologies. Although each Flatliners participants had a similar physical and biological experience of death, they each had different inner experiences of death. The reports of their experiences did carry similar, replicable experiences of consciousness that provide quantifiable experiential data to explore and/or confirm their hypothesis that there is life after death. In order for the psychology of consciousness and the study of inner consciousness experiences to be considered a valid scientific endeavor, it is important that the research methodologies, report findings, and method of communication to the scientific community are clear, concise, and refutable. The experiential nature of the study and reporting of human inner experiences requires precise, systematic procedures and a common interpretation of findings and opinions by the researcher and the scientific community. The use of systematic procedures and a common language provides the most effective objective indicators to study human experiences.